Welcome back to another episode of Graps and Yaps. This is your go-to podcast for everything pro wrestling, where we're going to recap what's happened inside and outside of the ring from the last week. Whether you're a lifelong fan like us or you're just a victim of the wrestling algorithm, we thank you for being here for another episode, and we hope that you bloody enjoy it. I'm Phil Fresh with you, joined by my tag partner TF. TF? What WTF is going on?
Man, I think
Sorry.
I'm still hungover from the from WrestleMania. We're in a WrestleMania hangover stage at the moment.
Still?
These few weeks after WrestleMania, going into Backlash, feels like just a very weird little transit period. So yeah, I guess that's what I call it, just a WrestleMania hangover.
Dude, awesome reference. And I actually cannot believe that, it's been, 2 weeks since WrestleMania, and then next week is Backlash. So I'm excited to, I'm just surprised that we're already here. I didn't think the turnaround was going to be that quick, but I mean, no off season in the WWE. How was your last week? Obviously, did you have a big Anzac Day? Did you get up and two up?
Anzac Day was big, but I didn't have like a massive day, so to speak, like activity wise. I was around and doing things, but two up was very, I guess, subdued for me. I think I had 2 beers for the whole day, and I had to shoot off and do some other things. So I was very busy Anzac Day weekend, but I guess it was good weekend though, long weekend. I won't complain. Getting Monday off. What about you?
Hey, honestly, you know what? I didn't really do all that much on Saturday either. Like, I worked as usual. I've never played two up. I've never experienced an Anzac Day two up. I still kind of don't really understand how it works. So obviously, it's heads or tails. But like,
So
can you
they-
just
three
quickly,
coins.
just very briefly run me through the rules of this?
So there's 3 coins on a paddle. So
Yeah.
heads and tails on each side of those 3 coins. So a spinner will come in, they'll lob them up, and best of 3 is the winner there. So heads or tails. If it's 2 tails, tails wins. 2 heads, heads wins. The coins have to land in the area. There'll be like a designated area which the coins have to land for it to be a legitimate toss. But before that, everyone places their bets whether they think it's going to be heads or tails. So anyone betting heads, they'll literally just hold their cash above their head, letting them know how much they're willing to put on heads, and then the tails bettors will hand them the money. And then at the result of the coin toss, the money gets transferred to whoever the winner was. I saw some wild swings on Saturday, I got to say. I saw 9 tails in a row, then immediately followed by 8 heads in a row. It was scenes. Hey, for a game with 50-50 probability, it is wild.
Yeah.
And, the theatrics that can happen. Cinema.
Actually, I've heard yarns of like people putting up proper cash when it comes to this as well. The other thing I saw was huge lines at like 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, like to these venues for two up. And I don't know, I questioned it. I was like, man, like, are we really lining up to lose money? Like, not only in two up, but like I can't imagine what those beer prices were at the end of the day. You'd be scared to look at your bank account at the end of it all, right?
It depends how you went. I guess like if you're looking at it like half glass full, half glass empty, 50% chance heads or tails is the best odds you'll ever get gambling in one of these licensed premises. Like way better than whatever else they're offering, like footy odds, pokies, whatever. Like 50-50 chances of winning. It doesn't get greater than that.
What's your luck like in two up? Are you decent at it?
Horrible. I think I had.
Oh no!
I had 3 bets on Saturday and all unsuccessful. This was during that wild tails 9 in a row, then heads 8 in a row. So when it's like tails like a few times, you're like, oh, it's heads is due. No, it didn't happen. So no good for me.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Look, one day I'll get there. And thank you for explaining the rules to me. Now that I know what it is. Another thing that I did in this last week, I watched the new Hulk Hogan Netflix docuseries. Have you gotten around to that yet?
No, and I don't know.
Do you have any intentions?
I don't think so. I've seen enough ads for it to be turned off by it.
You saw enough from WrestleMania weekend. Look, I got through it in like the last few days. It's only 4 episodes. It's a really interesting watch, to be honest. Like, obviously, it's controversial he's had a pretty controversial later end to his life, and then the halfway through, he passes away. So it was like a real weird. Like, I wonder if it would have been 4 episodes or it would have been more had things hadn't panned out that way. But look, I enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't think they were like too heavy on like the good side and the bad side. I feel like there was a nice balance between both. But I honestly, Tony Free, if you got some time coming up, before Backlash, I strongly like you should give it a watch, give it a spin.
I will. I don't know if am I gonna learn anything new about Hulk Hogan, or like, is this just
I don't
rehashing?
think I think I learnt. I mean, what did I learn exactly? I mean, I knew about certain things, but maybe I just didn't go into detail. I didn't know the details of certain things. And also, if there's another thing you should watch it, there is one specific cameo that I won't say, just in case I spoil anything. There is one cameo in this show where I literally was just like kind of half watching on my phone, and I sat up and I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "What's he doing here?" Anyways, so definitely someone to watch, but. We do have a lot to get into news-wise when it comes to wrestling. Before we get there, some outside the ring news. Does this move you in any way? Actually, I feel like you might cop this. Did you see the Rhea Ripley OVO collab that happened on IG? Have you seen the hoodie?
I've seen the hoodie. I will not be copying any
Why is
OVO
that?
merch. I'm not
Really?
14 anymore.
Really? You're not an OVO. You're rocking with Kendrick Lamar?
Certified pedophiles.
Damn. So you're not excited for Iceman dropping May 15th?
No, I think I was just more interested in, I think, like the actual rollout of the launch and like hearing people like, well, so like, did Drake have like an actual ice structure in Toronto where people had to like either wait for it
Yeah.
to melt to like for the date to be announced, or they had to like get flamethrowers or like jackhammers and chip away at
Yeah.
this ice thing?
I think that was the gist of it. Was like, this is the ice, and like it's gonna take, I guess, this long. Or, there was one ice block that had like the date, or like it said Iceman and the date. So people were like using. It was full like old school. Like people had like damn pickaxes and just like trying to like break down the ice. And one dude found it, and that's what it was. But to the Kendrick Lamar of it all, I will say very culture vulture esque of Drake to just swoop in when wrestling's mainstream again, and also to pick. I mean, it's a dope opportunity for Rio. I mean, that's a pretty big year when you have someone of the same caliber of a Drake. Getting in touch with the OVO stuff. But yeah, look, I'll be honest, I'm not getting into that either. You got any? You
Hey,
look like you're about to say something.
oh yeah, my culture king's days are well and truly over. It's a long time ago now. I ain't doing
Yeah,
that
I
shit
reckon you're
again.
going to be rocking a snapback anytime soon.
Those things are out, man.
Surely.
I'm in the runners
Everything's
caps now. Dad
cyclical, man.
says I
Everything's
don't,
cyclical. We're going to get back into it at some point.
I don't know, man. We'll see, but yeah, not for me right now.
Everything is cyclical, and as I always say, everything is wrestling. So let's get into the recap of the last week. And the biggest news this week, unfortunately, it is a bit bittersweet, I guess, but there was a bunch of WWE releases this week. Some were shocking, some were surprising. There were a couple. There were actually a lot of, I guess, like were they NXT or Evolve kind of releases? There
Yeah, there's a
some
few of
names that I
those.
wasn't familiar with. So like I can't really speak on that. So we'll focus on the names that we do know. And the biggest one I think that maybe you'll agree with was the entire Wyatt Six: Bo Dallas, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross, Dexter Loomis, and Joe Gacy. Now we have spoken about, I guess, problems with this kind of character on TV and what needs to change and what needs to be improved. And it feels like maybe, there was no solution there. What went wrong, Tony Free? What do you think it was? Is it a bunch of things? Was there one thing in particular? What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's always hard to book, creatively. It's hard to book that kind of act anywhere. And we saw that, like when that's why we were skeptical at the start. And, they had an awesome debut when they pretty much, seemingly murdered everyone on Monday Night Raw in Gorilla one night. But then, there wasn't really any, follow up from that momentum. And unfortunately, you know, it was always going to be really hard. And, you know, I guess we were proven right. A lot of people were proven right that it's hard to, in 2026, to put the Wyatts in a prominent spot, which is believable. I guess the shocking thing about all of this is that they were all released. I think, you know, not having any
Oh
other
yeah.
use for them, like, was really surprising. You know, I was really like I guess like Eric Rowan, I can kind of see why he would be released. You know, he can still do stuff elsewhere, and you know, he wasn't like a guy you could just mold into something else in WWE. Whereas like
Yeah,
Nikki
who
Cross,
was your biggest shock? Yeah.
I think Nikki Cross was the biggest one. I think he can still do a lot more with her. You know, she was obviously playing that character for the last 18 months or so, but before that, like she's been doing other things, and you know, I thought they could do more with her. So that was probably the most surprising one out of it, besides obviously Bo Dallas. I think, you know, as Uncle Howdy, I feel like it maybe was a little bit unfair just to pigeonhole him into only being that character and not having any other use for him. So yeah, they're the two main surprises for me out of those, you know, Wyatt sixes to be released.
That's fair enough. I mean, yeah, when they debuted, and just the way that whole segment played out and everything, it started on a high, and then you know when I think it was the week after, maybe 2 weeks after, and then we had Bo Dallas as Bo Dallas, you know, like in Pierce's office, like that's when it was like, oh, okay, so it's not just like him with the hat and the mask, like we're gonna get, you know, a bit more personal. And I just don't think that they ever followed up. That to me, that's where they missed the step, because all we saw for the last 6 months, maybe hell, even a year, was like him coming out and in this ridiculous wig, weird grey and red dreadlock situation, and a mask, and just everything else. Like it just didn't make sense. You know, I think wrestling has changed. You know, you could have, this maybe could have worked when the Undertaker debuted in the '90s, or like when there was IRS, or you know, Ultimate Warrior, like in that golden era of WWF. Maybe this could have worked, but like 30 years later, 40 years later, it's just too. We're in like we're consuming things differently now. It's way too real. And this, I just think it was just like it just wasn't meeting, I guess, the expectation to a bigger audience. One name in this group that I am actually, you know, I will say Joe Gacy, I feel like got a little bit shafted because, I mean, he was doing bits in NXT before he got up in Wyatt 6. And then when he came to the Wyatt 6, we kind of didn't really see, I guess I never really saw him shine at all. But my one would be Dexter Lumis, because Dexter Lumis, I loved the silent gimmick, the mute gimmick that he was running in NXT before the Wyatt Six. I thought they like you could have done so much more with that. And you know, when he was with Indy Hartwell, like I don't know, there was just opportunities there, and Bo Dallas as well. Like I don't know. I guess it kind of leads into, I guess, a bigger question. But you know, another release that happened was Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, who were in AEW. They got released before, and then they're both back in. Now they're both out again. Is there something to do with, it's something to do with spooky gimmicks? I feel like spooky gimmicks in the big 26, it just doesn't make sense, Tony Free.
Well, the funny thing with Alistair and Zelina, they were literally given like the Karrion Cross gimmick after Karrion Cross didn't re-sign. And like so if you look back...
Karrion Cross, another spooky gimmick, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. But like looking back at the like 3 or 4 weeks leading into WrestleMania, Aleister Black was always in the background backstage in the segments involving Cody, Randy, Pat McAfee, Jelly Roll, and we've had absolutely no follow-up. So I don't know what the hell they were thinking, you know, what the goal was here, but yeah, it just was never getting over. And Zelina, unfortunately, like when she was wrestling in the ring, she just was not connecting with any fans. It was crickets when she'd come out. I think we all hated her run as US champion. That was never believable in any instance. And I think
hate is a strong word.
Well, I think her best work was her accompanying Alistair, like being his sidekick. It worked really well.
Yeah.
I thought like the presentation was really, really cool. And I still feel like they had a lot more they could have done with Alistair. Unfortunately, I think it's just one of those things where, yeah, maybe he didn't connect and make the impact that they thought that he would have when he came up to when he came back to WWE a year ago. I think he did like exactly 1 year of being back in WWE.
Really? It's only so he clocked a year, and then they said, "See you later, mate."
Yeah, I think it was literally to the day.
Damn.
1 year to the day.
Damn, man. I mean, Aleister Black. We forget. Was he a multiple-time NXT champion, or just a one-time NXT champion?
He was an NXT champion, that's for sure.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he won any singles titles in WWE, right? Did he win a tag title? No, I don't think he did, right?
Don't think so, but I think he may have burned his bridges at AEW as well when he was getting his release to go to the WWE. So I don't think he goes back there. So I don't know where he goes. Maybe TNA, I'm not sure, but yeah.
So my thing with the TNA, right, and maybe you can clarify this, but is TNA not in partnership or maybe even under the WWE umbrella?
They run their own thing. They're two separate entities. They just have a partnership there, like a friendly partnership. Nothing like set in stone, but like there's obviously an agreement where they work with each other in instances where it makes sense.
Yeah, okay. The Aleister Black thing, man, it's unfortunate because he could go, yeah, when you go back to like NXT Black and Gold when he was a champion, he was dope. Once you get to like, yeah, fast forward to 2026, 2025 even. I mean, the biggest spot that I remember him doing was we were there for it in Perth. Yes, the last man standing match.
I like that
was
feud.
A great feud. I agree, and there was some momentum there. There was some, there were legs to this. Maybe what this is a lesson, maybe even to the creative or just WWE creative. It's like we cannot be doing spooky gimmicks in 2026, man. It's not real enough. It's too on the nose. It's too like,
especially now that we have like things like WWE Unreal, where we're trying to like blend kayfabe and real life. These spooky gimmicks just aren't hitting anymore.
We got to stop doing it, and maybe that would have been the best pivot for the Wyatt Six, and maybe even Aleister Black if we got rid of the weird, voodoo, like the candles and the spooky walk and the mystique and the masks and the wigs. Like if you just put these guys in a group, hey, we're the Wyatt Six. We are wrestlers, but like we're fighting for especially it's a tough spot to be in when it's a group that's kind of passing on the legacy of Bray Wyatt. I guess big shoes to fill, and maybe that's another reason why it didn't work out. It was just, it's sad, but yeah, I am excited to see. I don't know about Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, especially if you're saying there's drama there with AEW, but like a Bo Dallas, I mean, he could probably do fantastic in AEW. What do you think?
I think so. I think they'll find something for there'll be something out there for them. I have no doubt, but. Yeah, I guess like touching on the spooky stuff. If the Undertaker is not coming back in full Undertaker character, there's no reason to be doing any spooky shit for anyone else in 2026.
That's it. That's literally it. Undertaker's done his bit. Okay, we've seen it. It's happened. Move on. Another name that was kind of shocking. Another name who was like invested in a TV storyline was Kairi Sane. That was a big shock to me. How was that for you?
This one actually annoyed me more than anything. Like I was disappointed at first, and then I was really annoyed because like for weeks, even last week, Kairi and Asuka have been, going back and forth, and with Io there as well. And then like we'll get into it later possibly, but there was a spot on Raw this week with Asuka and Io, and it like I was watching it, I'm like, oh, this is the point where Kairi would come out and make the save for maybe Io, and then this leads to that developing that story, which it's kind of been hinted towards for the last 12 months. But yeah, now we've got no payoff, no explanation as to where Kairi's now gone. If you're like a little 10-year-old kid who's been following this for at least like the last 6 months, and then Kairi Sane just disappears from your screen, you're gonna be like, what the hell? Like you might not be, but like, but all of a sudden, like this person's just been ripped from TV with no explanation.
Yeah, you're not online like us, right?
Yeah.
You're just watching TV and you're like, well,
if you're just watching it, exactly. There? If you're watching it, it doesn't really help that viewers. So yeah, I was very disappointed in that. And I think Kyrie has had a good run since she came back to the WWE.
Yeah, she definitely had something going with Asuka and Io. There was also even a hashtag going around that I believe Jackie Redmond tweeted, which was, hashtag we want Kyrie. And then she deleted it. And everyone's just like, oh, like they're cracking down on that. I mean, we saw a similar situation last year with R-Truth, right? And then we had the hashtag we want truth.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie re-signs in some way and she gets involved in that match next week at Backlash. Honestly, this might be like a swerve of these releases.
Well, it's the other thing is, before I get there, I've lost my train of thought. Anyways, what I was going to say was apparently I saw something online. I don't know how true it is or what the source was, but apparently it was kind of a mutual decision for Kyrie to get released because Kyrie wanted to move back to Japan. So whether that actually happens or not, time will tell. But it did make sense. It's a shame that we had this going. We can date this back again to Perth, back in October, about 6 months ago, where they've been teasing this and teasing this and teasing this. Like, could you imagine the payoff, the pop, when Kyrie finally snaps and she hits Asuka with that elbow off the top rope? Like,
I've been waiting for it.
Like they need to change whenever they do these cuts, right? They need to readjust the schedule when it comes to these roster cuts.
It's like they just make them it's like they get an email one random Monday morning and saying, hey, you need to cut this amount of superstars or this amount of budget by 5 p.m. today. And then all of a sudden they just, throw darts at a board and that's who they've got going.
Oh, man. Well, look, Kyrie's saying maybe we'll see her next week at Backlash. Maybe we won't. Another, name that got released, the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. Can I start by saying this? I was never sold on these guys. As great as they are, as much as they have accomplished outside of WWE, the second they stepped foot, the vignettes were awesome. I was like, oh damn, true. As soon as they stepped foot, I was like, man, get these unks out of here. Like they can still go, but it's just it was just given, hey fellow kids. I was like, man, I was just not sold on it.
We didn't need to see these nerds in WWE, honestly.
Nerds. Yeah, and bro, they won the tag belts, right? They won it once or twice. Once, I think.
Once. I think within their first few weeks in WWE. And still didn't sell anyone on how good they were. Obviously they're talented in the ring, but you're not going to get me invested in these two people. Especially when they're coming out with their little shitty theme song and trying to pretend like they're holding guns. God. How old are you? Seriously.
Yeah, what's with the gun? Yeah, what's with all the gun imagery? I mean, I guess it kind of ties back to what they were doing. But yeah, Motor City Machine Guns, while it was a shame, I wasn't too, upset by it. What do you reckon this means for them? Do they go back to TNA or could you see them venture out elsewhere?
Yeah, TNA, AEW, New Japan, that's their kind of forte. I guess for the more hardcore indie wrestling nerds, that's their audience. So they can go there and do that for them.
They'll be safe, man. I mean, I could see them coming back to the WWE even more as as an agent or
100%.
Like a producer role even. So look, I mean, they've had a pretty tenuous career as well. This might be it for them. Who knows? But moving on down the line, Alba Fire. The Chelsea Green loses a member of the Secret Service. Kind of out of nowhere, especially with the fact that Piper Niven was, she's on the shelf at the moment as well. I mean, what does this mean for Alba, and also what does this mean for Chelsea?
Well, I think, for Chelsea, I think that's probably the more interesting part of this because, no Piper, no Alba now. Do we drop the whole Secret Service business for when Chelsea returns to the ring? Maybe. And is it time to start strapping the rocket to Chelsea? I think so. If we don't have anyone around her now, I think now is the perfect time to start pushing her for a world title. But for Alba, I think unlucky, but she'll do stuff. She's safe.
She's safe.
There's stuff for her. There's things for out of it. There's things for her out there. That's for sure.
This one, Well, this one, this name when I saw it, I was like, damn, that was like it was tough, man. For Zoe Stark, she got cut as well, which was a big shame because the last time we saw her was in May last year, and she had like a pretty horrific injury on
Did
TV
ACL?
during a
Yeah.
match. Yeah, like I mean, it was almost like the Sid Vicious leg spot where it wasn't pretty to see, but while she's been rehabbing and working her way back, getting cut, unfortunately, that was a tough one.
You know what? She recently just
Man,
got cleared as well. She just got cleared to
really? So she
return.
got cleared, and they said,
Yeah, like very, very, very recently, and then they gave her the cut.
"Man, it's a tough gig,
That's
man. It's a
harsh.
tough gig. Just yeah, very harsh." Apollo Crews, another name who's in. Apollo Crews had been signed to WWE for some time now. I mean, do we? Let me actually find out how long. But what were your thoughts when you saw Apollo Crews's name on there?
Well, the throne has been vacated now. The king of catering is gone, so I don't know who steps up to
Hey,
fill that
no, that's
void.
disrespectful. No, not King of Catering. He was the king of main event. Hey, Have you seen that meme where he was on every episode of main event for I don't even know how long, but like for ages.
He might, yeah. Well, he must be the guy to like come in and amp up the live crowd before the TV show
He
starts.
was the
But
king of main event. It's a shame we didn't see him last year in Perth.
yeah, but yeah, God, like it's Apollo Crews. What has he actually done for? Yeah, how many years has it been since he's, I guess, really featured on?
2014, he signed to WWE. He
It's a
did
good run.
bits in NXT. He had that kind of weird gimmick where he was, I guess he was kind of Obafemi before Obafemi. He was running the Nigerian gimmick and was I believe he was Intercontinental Champion during that time as well. No,
He had a decent run. Yeah, he would have
he
maybe.
did bits, but yeah, I guess for the last, I couldn't even tell you, maybe 4 years or so. Not much going on there, but he's a name that I could see doing well elsewhere. I mean, it'd be nice to see him get to, AEW and I guess giving him free reign and do whatever he wants. What else have we got here? Oh, this one was a weird one. Santos Escobar. Was he ever? Did he ever come back on TV after he got re-signed? Maybe on AAA.
Only on AAA. He never came back onto WWE television. So they released him, re-signed him, put him on the shelf, and then let go of him again. Very strange, but
What a weird. Yeah, and I
yeah,
remember there was a lot of rumors of him going to AEW, right? After he got dropped.
I think so. But like Santos is really good. Like he's really, really, really good. So
Yeah.
like he's another guy who's going to be like he'll have offers to do other things, and he's going to be okay. I'm sure he'll get a lot of money wherever he goes next. So he might be in. I think CMLL was the other one that he may have been hinted to go to last year when he was released from WWE previously. So yeah,
Right.
either if he goes to CMLL, it means he can wrestle in AEW as well. So it'll be either one of those promotions.
And the last big name on here, Andre Chase from Chase U University. Chase U, right? Not just Chase U University. I just added an extra U. But from NXT, never made the main roster. What were your thoughts on this one? Were you a little bit disappointed?
Yeah, I think I've got a Andre Chase figurine at home, so I have to
Oh
keep
my
that
god!
keep that in this box, limited edition right now. So
Yeah,
I'll keep that for the next 10 years and see what
yeah.
it's
Don't
worth.
unbox that. Don't unbox that. I mean, the Chase U stuff I kind of didn't really get when it was happening in NXT, but you know, never good to see anyone lose their job. But hopefully, they're all going to be looked after. But this kind of does open the door to the next talking point, which is there were a bunch of NXT call ups to the main roster. I think the biggest one, the one that made the biggest impact, in my opinion, was Fatal Influence on SmackDown.
Yeah, this was cool because I thought like only JC Jane would be coming up, but to see all of Fatal Influence now on the main roster, I think is really great. So, and yeah, they should just literally just go in and try and take over the women's division. So I think yeah, really good start to their main roster careers, and yeah, made an impact immediately. Not in one spot during SmackDown, but
Yeah,
multiple. So yeah, really good.
exactly. It means that they have big things planned for them. And I also can't help but think like, how we've just formed this group between Jade Cargill, B Fab, and Meechin, and now we've got Fatal Influence. And it feels like what they were trying to do with Jade Cargill and them is what they actually have with Fatal Influence. We've got like a team with like actual like chemistry, and everyone's on the same page, and
Well,
they
let's pit
there's like an identity.
let's pit the white girls against the girls of color.
It's just three girls, three girls. I'm just putting the groups of three girls in a group. Like, you know what I mean? They just formed, the J Cargill group only formed just before WrestleMania. And then now we got NXT, Fatal Olympics coming up. And it's just like, man, like, obviously, to be fair, like, they've had a lot more time together. So that's the thing. But it just feels like, I'm instantly more interested in Fatal Influence just because they already have like an established chemistry there, and I'm excited to see what they do on TV. I haven't spent too much time watching JC Jane, but I've heard many good things about it. So seeing them on SmackDown and go toe to toe, not just with Rhea Ripley, but with Paige and the Bellas and Charlotte and all them. Hey man, it means good things.
100%. And then what about there was a match there where Rhea and like JC Jane already like that's fed to the main roster, so it's cool to see that they're putting her in that caliber of superstar with Rhea Ripley, your WWE Women's Champion. So yeah, very optimistic future for Fatal Influence.
Also this week, it was announced last week on SmackDown, but coming up this weekend, Ricky Saints, absolute Ricky Saints. I'm excited for this one, man. What do you think is the play here? I mean, if you're in those, the booking meetings, looking after what's happening on SmackDown, we've got this debut of Ricky Saints. What's your pitch? Like, where do you want this to go?
I need Trick Williams versus Ricky Saints, best of 7 for the US Championship.
What the hell?
Book it.
Okay.
Those two on the mic in a feud is going to cook.
You reckon that happens immediately? This happens right now.
Right,
while Trick is sorted out with, he's still occupied with Sami Zayn.
Aura on aura.
If it's me right here, we get Ricky Saints stepping up to Cody Rhodes. We get absolute interrupting the American Nightmare.
Wow.
Going, hey Cody, what's up, man? Remember me? I made it. I'm here. And, maybe we tease a little bit of, yeah, we're friends, man. We go way back. You and me, I was in the tour bus with you. Next minute, then we get a little bit of, absolute Ricky Saints doing the damn thing on Cody Rhodes. And, maybe this is a nice time. This period from now until, I guess, Money in the Bank, or from now until the next 2 months, is when you can do these, like, try these little things. That's in my opinion, at least. Like, just try these things out, because there's there's nothing really big happening at the moment. You still got so much time until we get to SummerSlam. So now it's like, all right, so well, how do we build someone but, like, give the champ something to do? For me, I'm calling it, man. I'm going Ricky Saints interrupts Cody Rhodes this week.
It's not a bad shout, but I'm excited for Ricky. Ricky on he's on SmackDown, isn't he? So it looks like he'll be on the blue brand going forward. But excited to see what they do with absolute Ricky Starks. Or Ricky Saints,
even if it's not a heel, even if it's not like a heel turn like that, and maybe he's just he's in Cody's corner, and then maybe they do it down the line. Now I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm excited for it. Point is, I'm looking forward to it. On Raw this past week, we had Joe Hendry live in concert, singing his announcement that he is signed to the Raw brand, and also showing him taking out, the Vision, especially going after Logan Paul. Good, strong debut, in my opinion.
Really good. I was very sports entertained. I love the song from Joe Henry, about him signing the Raw, and then can we fire Logan Paul? I thought very witty, very good, and Logan Paul's reaction coming out to this, amazing. Just cherry on top, just sold everything for me. I'm already excited for these two going head to head, and with the Street Profits involved here as well. It's just I like it all. I love it all.
Yeah, I think the juxtaposition between like all the cuts and then now all the releases. It seems like they are preparing for the future WWE. And the last one that we saw her on Raw 2 weeks ago. We are going to be seeing her next week. I think officially signed to Raw now, Sol Ruka. So I mean, we don't even need to get into Sol Ruka because we've been singing her praises long enough here in Graps and Yaps. So let's get into I guess the main event on Monday Night Raw. It seems like we've got a title match planned for Backlash between the Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu and the OTC Roman Reigns. I think what's happened on SmackDown last week and what's happened on Raw, hey, if I guess what inning would we be in now? I guess this would be like the 7th inning maybe. But I'm on board with this so far.
Man, this is like 7th inning of only like game 1 in this series. There's still another 6 games to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Bloodline cinema segments are back. They opened the show on Raw. This is going to be fun. I have no idea where Jimmy and Jay are going to slot into this. If Jacob is to get the win, I'm not sure where they're going to go. So that's exciting because, I think maybe 2.5 years ago, we said this Bloodline thing was too predictable. Now it's not. That's really great. This is really, 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 really good stuff.
The best thing about it is like, they're tapping into things, or like they're addressing things that maybe they haven't addressed in the past. Like, just if that segment on SmackDown when Jacob was out and the Usos are trying to deter him away, and even that when Solo, I popped when Solo came out because I was like, oh, let's go, like get everyone involved, get everyone in here. And when Solo's like, yo, I brought you here, bro. Like, I'm the reason why you're even here, why you're even challenging Roman Reigns. And, Roman, even addresses it on SmackDown and kind of fires back and is like, Solo couldn't even get a cup of coffee around here. Like, who do you really think made that call? Like, there's like, they are blurring that line between kayfabe and real, and they're doing a fantastic job of it. And Jacob, I think, as well, is doing a fantastic job of, being that main event role. Like, he's stepping up to Roman on the mic. He matches him in the ring. And him just bringing back the tongue and death grip out of nowhere at the end of Raw, taking out Roman like that. I'm in. I'm invested in this. And mind you, both of them looking sweaty as hell, Tony Free.
Yeah, like I saw some reports about the arena there in Laredo being like the air conditioning not working. I thought that straight away when these two came out. I'm like, oh, these guys look really, really shiny. Like,
I thought Jacob was really sweaty, and I was like, just take the hoodie off, bro.
Yeah, the foreheads were gleaming, so I could definitely tell there was some aircon issues in there. But yeah, like I love the Solo reference. But it's good to see like Jacob's kind of like, oh, actually, yeah, Solo did bring me in. Like he referenced that on Raw after Solo mentioned it on SmackDown. So maybe there's a little bit there to play out with Solo getting involved in this and the Tongans, because Jacob Fatu does put Roman Reigns in the Tongan death grip, which I thought was interesting, like that move of all things, and that was being pointed out on commentary. So yeah, there's a bit there to cook, I think.
Yeah. And also, it ties in because, Haku made that famous, and, who's his sons? They're in the MFTs. Like, we got Solo involved now. Like, what does Solo do? He's having issues with Tama Tonga. And now, now we're all involved here. Like, man, I'm really curious to see, what happens just in the next week, what happens at Backlash, and even what happens after Backlash. But another match that has been announced on the card so far, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. They had a face-to-face promo to open up Raw. What'd you make of it? What was your biggest takeaways from this one, Tony?
It felt very... it felt like this was definitely supposed to be happening a few months ago. This feels like it is a WrestleMania. That was like a pre-WrestleMania promo, which is exciting because it's like I said, it's the hangover period after WrestleMania, and we're getting this finally happening now. So I think that's really good because, yeah, like this was a match we wanted to see when these guys joined forces last April, and especially after Braun Breaker speared Seth Rollins in Perth in October last year. So it's been kind of simple. Like, we've been waiting around for it, waiting for Seth to come back, and then waiting for Braun to come back. And now it's all finally happening. And I thought, yeah, really good. I love like the barbs back and forth here. And, Braun saying that Seth was the best pro wrestler in the world at being number 2. And then, Seth coming back saying, you're not even number 2 in your own family. I thought it was all great. And yeah, it just has like that big fight feel, which, yeah, you usually see on the road to WrestleMania.
My only question with this, well, I agree with what you said. Yeah, it feels like this should have been on a Raw, yeah, a month ago, 5 weeks ago. Obviously, injuries, got in the way of that. But we're finally getting it now. My only, I guess, I mean, I wouldn't, concern's not the right word, but my question would be, for how much longer do we do this? I think we have learned that this vision thing is cursed. And I think it's better if we all just split, especially with like Logan Paul and Austin Theory kind of doing their own thing. Again, I'm still on this hill. I'll die on this hill. They never looked like a cohesive unit once. I mean, how long does this go for? Do we get anything after this? I mean, I just need this to end, but how do you see this playing out?
I think you do the split when Bronson Reed comes back in, and like when he comes back, he just turns straight away. I feel like that's probably the best way to go about it. And I don't know if
On Bron?
on either. I'll bet probably Bron. If Bron's in like a prominent spot, Bronson has to come back and just get immediately into a feud with Bron Breakker.
But then, like, that'll just open something that actually doesn't end it. It just prolongs it. Like, then we get Bron and Bron. Like, now we're still doing
against
the
each
same
other.
things. You know what I mean?
But the vision is gone. But you just set up that rivalry between those two.
Yeah, I guess. Ah, man, I'm over it.
Like
the vision.
theoretically, after Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker should probably move on to someone like a Bronson Reed, and because Seth might go after that World Heavyweight Championship that like he referenced on Raw. That is the title that he didn't lose.
Hey.
The title that he, I guess, made, and now Roman Reigns is carrying it. Like they made that title, as Roman Reigns said, in spite of Roman Reigns. I think, that Seth and Roman program for that title needs to happen. Probably WrestleMania next year in Saudi.
As great as Seth is, like in any program he's giving, he's just infinitely better when he's like chasing a title or he's the champion. So the quicker we can get to like that, the better it is for everyone. I've also just had a look at what PLEs are coming up. There are 3 in May. I mean, one of them's a Saturday night's
3
main event, which doesn't count.
Okay.
But like, yeah, but it's it's like a special show. So you got
month.
Backlash next week. Then you've got Saturday night's main event on the 23rd of May, and then the week after that is Clash in Italy.
Wow.
Like that's a lot, man. And then you take then there's a month off, and then we get into Night of Champions, which was just newly announced in Riyadh, in everyone's favorite Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We're going back, baby.
I can't wait. CM Punk can't wait either.
Oh man. Yeah, look. Anyways, we can talk about that when we get there. Some other news, and I kind of teased, when I was asking about what does Bron do after this, maybe it's the Obafemi Open Challenge. We saw our boy Big G finally get some TV time on Raw. Unfortunately, it was against Obafemi, and but you know what I will say for Grayson, he sold the entrance really well, and just the mannerisms in the face and the reactions to him being like, it almost looked like he was about to shit his pants when Obafemi was coming out. But Obafemi after the match basically says, "Look, the champions are tied up. Like all the champions are tied up with their own business right now. So I'm gonna make something happen for me. We're going to be doing the Obafemi Open Challenge." How long can he do this for? Because what I would like to see this last until WrestleMania next year.
He's going to literally go through everybody. We can't. I don't know if we can have his. I don't know if we can have it every week. This might have to start.
What was Goldberg's streak?
Something crazy. I don't even know if that included non-televised dates, but Oba.
Asuka's was better as well.
This needs to start yes, it needs to be on Raw to begin with, but then it has to transfer to being only on PLEs. We can't do 52 weeks straight of Obafemi Open challenges because then it doesn't become special.
No, I think you
in the
spaced it
initial
out.
run, in the initial run, you might go weekly for the first like 5-6 weeks, but then you make it a PLE thing where like it's the Obafemi spot on a PLE, and that's how you make that special. And that's where you get like the really big matches, rather than him just like, no offense or no disrespect to Grayson, but I don't want to see open challenges where Grayson Waller's answering it against Obafemi. I want to see Seth Rollins. I want to see Bron Breakker. I want to see Bronson Reed. Hell, I want to see Sami Zayn as well. Like, as much as I'm not really vibing with Sami at the moment, I'd rather see Sami in those spots getting squashed by Obafemi.
Yeah, I think, well, that's what I mean. I think the longer it goes, the better it is for everyone, especially over Femi. Like, because then you can have, these little matches. You build up to like, maybe we get to like a Ray Phoenix. Maybe we get to like an Otis eventually. Then we get to, like you move it up a little bit more, up a little bit more. Then we get, yeah, like you said, the Bron Breakers. A Gunther, that could be a big one down the line. And I just think, he's obviously going to be a champion at some point. It's just a matter. It's not if. It's just a matter of when. And I think the when should be on the biggest stage of them all. If not, then maybe it's a SummerSlam situation. So we could run that for.
Could you see Brock Lesnar, his music hitting him for one of these open challenges, returning the favor?
No. I'm still standing on like. You know what I realized? When we had this argument last week, we were arguing two different things, but like more specifically, you were arguing this is what's going to happen, and I was arguing this is what I want to happen, which is like we were just not even like fighting for the same thing. But I'm honestly so set on like him not coming back again. Like I think he's done with it. Yeah, sure. Like the money can persuade you, but yeah, I just think he's done for good. I don't think we see Brock Lesnar again.
Oh well, you'll be surprised.
Yeah, well, we'll save the day. We'll see you in Minnesota, mate. Tiffany Stratton, who's been kind of missing on TV the last few months, finally back and with some new goodies. And by that I mean
what the hell are you talking about?
The United States Championship. What do you think I was talking about?
I don't know, man. Tiffy time runs differently, depending who you ask.
Hey, on me, I worry about the belts. What'd you think? What'd you make of it?
I don't mind seeing Tiffy with this. It is weird to see her, dominating last year with the WWE Women's Championship, and now going down into that mid-tier level. It sounds disrespectful to say it that way, but for now, Tiffy, having the US Championship, I think it's good. It elevates that a little bit, kind of like how Becky's been elevating the IC Championship on Raw. We just need the feuds now. We need the women there that can really lift this championship up, because that's what's been lacking. We haven't had that. I think we can have a really good program between Tiffy and Chelsea for the US Championship, but I'd rather see Chelsea losing these matches and then she can go up and win a Money in the Bank or something like that. But yeah, I feel like that's going to eat for maybe a good 2 months, Chelsea versus Tiffy. But yeah, we need a lot of feuds here to make this sustainable.
I think that this is a perfect spot for Tiffy. Like, United States champion, kind of in the mid card, but having the belt, gives her a bit more importance, a bit more shine. I think it's a good spot for her. The crowd still loves her. I'm seeing a lot more like merch of her t-shirts and stuff coming around. So I think it's a really good spot for Tiffy. And I wonder, like you said, it just depends on who's going to challenge her. I don't really want to see any more matches with Julia. I mean, a Kiana James Tiffy time match, that could be fire, to be honest. So, yeah, as long as they come correct with the opponents, I think everything's going to be good. I want to get your thoughts on this, right? You mentioned it before with the Vision, Austin Theory and Logan Paul, and the Street Profits coming back. There was a backstage segment after they had kind of saved Seth Rollins, and Seth kind of walks up to them almost as like to say, yo, thank you for having my back out there. And they're just like, man, you give a fuck about you. Like, we're coming for the gold. And like, I would love more TV time with the Street Profits. So this time feels different, having them back. They feel a little bit more important. I'd love to see them like get some promo time where they're talking about yo, we've been gone for a minute. This is what's happening, but we're back and we're locked in. We're different now. We're going for the gold. Yada yada yada. How do you feel about the Street Profits in 2026?
Well, I feel like, yeah, they're finally making an actual, I guess, like a proper run for them. Like, whereas I think the last 2 years, they haven't been set in stone as to like what their direction is. Like when they were with Bobby Lashley, they kind of started off as heels, and then they organically became baby faces, and then they tried to move them back to heels, but it wasn't working because they were just too over with the audience. So now that like they kind of seem more set in what they're doing, I think it's better for them, and I feel like it's already more authentic. So yeah, I'm ready for these guys to have the tag title belts for sure, because I know they're going to put on banger matches. I know they've got the charisma to match that. And yeah, if they have like a nice, something laid out for them, which is concrete and, doesn't confuse anybody or like, takes a swerve every 3 weeks like they did before, then this time it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think that's, especially with the announcement of Bianca's pregnancy, like not to say that also affected it, but like, it just seems like, they're on a different, mode now. So
yeah,
hopefully we
Montez
get that
going
soon.
from pregnant to ripped in like the space of a month. Like that's
Hey,
what a
man,
turnaround.
that's Tez for you, man. He's honestly, he's a genetic freak. And I think the way that he locked in like that, hey, that's on. Also, side note, right? So now, because I'm still looking at the pay-per-view schedule, because I really thought that Money in the Bank was happening soon, but it happens after
July?
SummerSlam.
After
No, it's in
SummerSlam.
September. Yeah.
Oh, they've pushed it back. Okay.
Yeah, weird one, right?
Is there a location for it? Is it in Canada?
It's in New Orleans.
Where is it?
Oh,
New Orleans.
So I was doing the accent. Yeah,
It's in New Orleans.
it's
Okay.
in New Orleans. It's in New Orleans. I don't even know if that's even the right accent, but yeah, New Orleans.
All right, interesting.
September 6th. Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it?
I feel like we might be due for we might be due for probably a Perth announcement maybe soon.
Hang on a second.
Is there any PLEs lined up in October yet? November? We might get a Survivor Series.
Not that I can see. There is as of right now. There is only one event for July, and that is Saturday night's main event. But that's the only one. The PLE before that is Night of Champions in Riyadh on June 27th, and then the next PLE is SummerSlam August 1st. So yeah, hey, maybe same time as last year, October. Survivor Series even? Do we hang on a second?
Survivor Series, War Games, November. I think it could be on. Summertime
Survivor Series
in Australia.
Come on now. Let's do it. Get it happening, right? Book the flights.
No, actually don't do War Games again. I
don't want War Games. Yeah,
a
I'm over
traditional
it.
Survivor Series match.
Watch it. We'll say this now. It'll get announced as War Games in Perth, and we're going to be sitting there in Perth going, "This is the best match ever.
This is awesome."
Yeah, someone clip this and send this to us when it happens. When we spoke about Lil Yachty, when he first burst onto the scene with the United States champion Trick Williams, you weren't too sold on it. He comes out on SmackDown this last week, and he announces that he's here for good. He's here as, I think he was using, the terminology he was using was the prophecy. Have your thoughts changed at all, Tony Free? Please tell me they have.
Not at all. I still don't.
Come on, bro. You're a hater.
I don't know. Unless he's willing to like take a huge spot where he's gonna like do some Logan Paul shit off a top rope onto an announce table. Yeah, but I want to see like what Speed was doing at WrestleMania. That's what I want to see out of Lil Yachty before I change my mind.
Match. You want him in a match, is what you're saying.
I want to see him putting his body through the line off a top rope into an announce table. And then he'll have my respect.
Honest? That's not going to happen because he's the difference
between
move
him
and Speed is that we know Speed is athletic. We don't know that Lil Yachty is athletic.
Hey, one thing we do know, a performer.
Yeah.
Perform for the
Jelly
people.
Roll can do it. He is. You don't think he's coming out all the bumps that he's taken And also the fact he plays so nicely off of Trick Williams. You're not moved by that at all.
No.
You're a tough crowd. Honestly, he's doing,
It could
in my
literally
opinion,
be
he's doing
anybody.
fantastic.
It could literally be
Like
anybody
who?
right now in place
Drake?
of Lil Yachty. It could bring back Apollo Crews, get him out of catering. He can be in that spot.
Apollo Crews could not do that. You called him the king of catering. You really think he could? He has the swagger. He can talk the talk like Lil Yachty.
Lil Yachty might be the king of catering in the next couple of weeks if he's signed a longer deal with WWE, because there's only limited spots you could put him in at the moment. If he's not actually like training and getting in the ring for some real stuff, you can't have him out there every week.
Bumping Tony Free. He's been taking bumps.
Bro, these referees take more bumps than he does.
He took a bump on SmackDown. He took a bump on SmackDown as well.
Still need to see more. I need to see more.
No. He's been doing a really great job. You know he's about it. And also to the point where he even tweeted out and he was just like, hey, I know you guys are mad about the Jelly Roll Pat McAfee shit. Do not clump me in with that shit. You know I'm down with it. Like, I'm a bull Noah. I'm here. And honestly, it just makes sense. It only works with Trick Williams. You know what I mean? I don't think it'd work with anyone else. But he's doing fantastic, man. I loved backstage before they come out to the ring. And it's him, it's Trick Williams, Lil Yachty, and GBM, Gingerbread Man.
Man, I knew straight away. As soon as I saw him come out the door, that's Sami Zayn. Straight away.
Well, no, you know what? Like before, so when he comes out there, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of see what they're going for here. When he was dancing on the ramp, Trick Williams, you're like, well, that's just Sami Uso. Yeah, that's when it was just like, well, I know it was like we were kind of getting that way, but I've seen these dance moves before. But no, it's before he even comes out. It's he walks out. There's a lady there with some spray, and he's like, "Above the belt, below the chain." Sprays it, and then walks off. But the best part was when the guy rushes up to him. He's like, Trick, I know you gotta go, but I got something to say. And then Trick just backhands him. No, it's not explained, and just walks off. Fuck, this guy. See, this is the guy. Trick Willie, man. Shout out to Trick Willie. I'm sports entertained. And you know what? For you, Tony Free, I'm going to give you some homework. I'm going to ask you to just properly take in Lil Yachty on TV. Because I think you're coming in on, you know, you might be scarred from the Pat McAfee and the Jelly Roll of it all. But also, in a way, kind of scarred by the Speed and Bad Bunny of it all. Just watch it, just take it in, really, you know, without any facades, without any types of shades on, because Lil Yachty, man, he is that guy. I think it's perfect.
I don't know. I feel like WrestleMania season, yeah, maybe, but now we're past that. What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm just asking. Just give it a chance. Just let it cook. You know, you don't jump to conclusions. Let it happen. Man, is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you would like to discuss?
I don't know, man. It feels like, yeah, as I said, it's like a hangover period, so everything's kind of like, yeah, it happened, but like I'm not really, you know, looking forward to things like I was a month ago. But yeah, but like now that you've mentioned that Money in the Bank's a long time away now, I'm kind of like a little bit, you know, deflated about it, I guess. I was kind of like looking to see who would be cooking for the next 4 to 6 weeks to like get this briefcase, but now it's been pushed back.
It's like the perfect like in between now and SummerSlam, right? Now we don't have that, so it's like,
yeah, I'm feeling flat now knowing that.
Yeah, honestly, so was I, because I was looking at it, I was like, where the hell's Money in the Bank? Scrolled all the way down to September, and also, I mean, that's the latest PLE that's been officially announced so far. So, you know, fingers crossed for
this might be
another return to Perth.
This might be a very slow, like 2 months from here on out, as we're like building towards. It's a long build to what SummerSlam's in August. I'm guessing early August, and then Money in the Bank afterwards. So this could be a slow burn. So hopefully something is happening at least. But this bloodline stuff needs to carry for the next. This literally needs to carry the WWE for the next 2 months.
Well, I think there's obviously some momentum with that, so I think that's safe. I also think that it's a proper reset, WWE wise, especially with these NXT call ups. There's no really major signings, and I guess there's not real any big free agents around that they need to sign. So I think it's going to be we're in a transition phase right now where the new kids are coming in and we're reestablishing who's at the top, and we've seen the vets leave. We've seen John Cena go, AJ Styles as well, Brock maybe, according not to you, not to speak on your behalf, but Brock as well. So it's a nice little transition period, nice little reset for this year. So look, hopefully the writing is on point. That's all I'll say about that. But I guess we got to get out of here, eh? Thank you for joining us on another episode of Graps and Yaps. Make sure you're following us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube as well. Why not chuck us up on the TV while you're doing something else? Have us on in the background while you're doing the dishes, while you're, I don't
Making
know.
love.
I mean,
Put us on
hey
while you're
man,
making
whatever.
love in the bedroom, in them
Hey,
sheets,
whatever.
hitting them yeets,
Hey, I don't know, whatever
getting
you
those
do in your own
claps. While
time,
you listen
Tony
to some Graps
Free.
and Yaps.
Oh my! All right, let's go. Tony Free, thank you so much for joining. Do you have anything exciting happening up in the next week?
Actually, I don't think so. Man, I could not tell you right now. I'm way too busy to know what's going on. I don't know what's happening in the next hour. So if you catch me, you
Alright.
catch me. But yeah, I'm around somewhere doing something.
Fair enough. I think I'm very much the same. Actually, taking it easy, and we hope you listening taking it easy too. Thank you for joining us on another episode. And TF, clean up your act, and I'll see you next week.
See you then.